Welcome to the Adriana Talks Dinero Podcast, the podcast where we turn money lessons into tools for healing, confidence, and prosperity in our community. I'm Adriana, your bilingual money coach, educator, entrepreneur, and proud author. Here, we honor our raíces and ancestors while building wealth for future generations. Each episode, I'll share practical tips, wealth building strategies, and real talk to help you take control of your dinero, step into abundance, and go from surviving to thriving. Let's talk dinero. So this week I really want to talk about something that I have been thinking about so much lately, and that is the cost of staying comfortable and how playing it safe keeps our community stuck financially. So this hits really close to home for me, and it's something that I've learned over the years. I'm now 35, and I can honestly say that in so many different things, such as my career, or if it was friendships, or just relationships in general, or just like how I would present myself, I guess, I would play small sometimes. So there have been times in my career where I stayed at a job for too long, or how I would get comfortable, which happens to so many of us. So as I'm going through this, I also want to go ahead and ask you the question, where in your life are you confusing comfort with peace? And it's very normal for many first and second gen Latinas to value stability overall, right? It's having that stable job, having a steady income. It's like playing it safe with having like no debts. It is playing it safe by just going to college for whatever degree that they tell us to. You know, my dad actually really pushed me to get my degree in nursing. And I said, I'll give it a try. So when I was in high school, there was a program where I could go ahead and get my CNA license, which is a certified nursing assistant. And this was kind of like your intro way to go ahead and get into nursing. And my dad was so adamant. He's like, go into nursing. Nurses are always needed, and you will have a good paying job and a steady job, and just go for it. And I tried it. I did it in high school. It was my junior year of high school, and I tried it out and I hated it. I learned so much about myself in that time, where I was like, I really don't care like how the body works. I really don't care about anatomy. Yes, like I care for people, but I don't want to deal with like bodily fluids, right? Like I'm 35 and I don't have children, and a big piece of that, which there's so many, but a big piece are the bodily fluids. Like I'm an empathetic throwing up person, for example. Don't ever put me in charge of drunk people that are going to end up throwing up, because it's going to be two of us throwing up in a bucket. So I tried it out and finished the course, did good on the exam, got the state certification. And when I got it, I gave it to my dad and I said, but then like, I don't want this. Like, this is what you wanted for me. And I tried it and I don't want it. And he was furious. He was like, I spent, I think it was like $300 or $350 for me to get this certification, and I'm not going to do anything with it. And I said, you wanted me to go ahead and do it. And I ended up taking a risk, and I was the first woman in my family to go ahead and go in a different route, because basically all the women in my family were in like nursing or in some sort of like education, or just ended up getting married and they were homemakers. So I was like the first one. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to business school. I don't know what part of business yet, but I'm going to go to business school. And that's how I ended up in human resources ultimately, because I really liked the business aspect, the law aspect, and the people aspect of things. And I look at that, and if didn't take that risk since then to learn about business, because in so many of my classes I had to learn about like handling books for a business, such as like the accounting portion, or how to think outside the box in a very entrepreneurial way, or even just getting the positions that I have had in my HR has been something that has in turn like really helped me out. And especially being in human resources, I get to see what other people are making and, you know, start having these conversations with managers and things like that to go ahead and say, hey, like, if you want to go ahead and give this person more money, like what is kind of like the business case, or why are we giving this person more money compared to this other one? And getting into the heads of upper leadership has really helped me on my journey, as I have taken jobs with more responsibility, which means I'm asking for more money, or even having those conversations and roles and saying, hey, like, I think I deserve an increase in my pay for XYZ reason. So it's been a lot of that. And then also like kind of the piece on like taking risk. I see that a lot in my investing journey. So I put a nice chunk of my money in investments, and it's not just like my 401k. I have a brokerage account. I have a Roth IRA. Every time I leave a job, I put that in a rollover IRA. And then also with my health savings account, that's part of my benefits, anything over $1,000, I'm investing that in the market. And I can honestly say I'm the first one in my family to go ahead and start playing around with the market and understanding the market and investing my money and having my money work for me instead of me having to work for the money, which has been nice to see. So if I were to just stay comfortable and just do what everyone has been doing, or not negotiate my pay, if it was in a current position that I'm in, or if it was as I was job hopping, for not asking for more money, or even asking those questions of, hey, what's the budget for this? And then saying, well, you know, you're giving me a range from X to Y, I want Y. And basically, like, if you don't ask, like, the answer is always going to be no. And I feel like so many of us just lose money, or just lose a sense of freedom by staying comfortable and not negotiating, or not investing, or even avoiding entrepreneurship. Maybe entrepreneurship full-time isn't completely for you, but you have a skill set that you can go ahead and monetize. Or maybe you go ahead and you kind of do like that quote unquote perfect formula of being a W-2 earner. And then you start getting all these tax deductions. You have to go ahead and get outside of your box, ask those questions, and make sure that you are playing with the risk in an appropriate way. Now, are there going to be losses sometimes? Absolutely. But what I've seen time and time again, the times that are like the scariest, or you're taking like this leap of faith, or you're taking a risk, those moments or those decisions have been the ones that pay off the most. Like time and time again. Like I didn't gain anything from being comfortable. I didn't gain more money. I didn't gain more passive incomes. I didn't gain more peace by playing small. So let me give you some examples on how like building your courage, could end up being small financial risks that are going to have like a nice outcome. So for one is asking your manager for a raise or asking them for a larger title. So let's say you've been at your job for 3 years and you've just kind of gotten like that bare minimum. It's usually like 3% merit increase. But let's say that you live in Illinois and in the Chicagoland area like myself, we're seeing inflation rates at like 6, 7, 8, like 9%. There was a time that we were seeing it in double digits too, kind of closer to 11%. So if you're not going to ask for that raise, what you are making now, you're losing money by not asking for a cost of living adjustment or asking for those promotions or asking for those increases in pay. Another one that could be risky for so many of us in communities of color is opening your first investment account. Yeah, in the beginning it's scary, but once you start learning and you don't have to put in like your life savings in the market, you can go ahead and do something as little as $5. And you start getting comfortable with the idea of purchasing stocks, purchasing index funds, and then you start seeing that money grow in ways that it could never grow in your measly little Chase savings account that only can give you 0.01%. Like, that's where you start getting that motivation. That's when you're like, the light bulb is going off and you say, oh my gosh, like, I can put money into here and the money grows, and then the company gives me money back in dividends. So I'm making money for going ahead and just putting my money in this company that I shop at anyway. So it's things like that, right? You're getting outside the box and you are doing something risky. And the other thing is starting a side hustle that you've been dreaming about. I feel like all of us have like this creative side of us that in many of our roles or in our lives we're not able to tap into because there's other things that are going on. So like dream about like what that side hustle can look like. And of course you don't have to have it all figured out, because trust me, like myself as a business owner, I've had to pivot so many times in the 3 years that I have been in business, and I am still pivoting, and that's completely fine. But in all honesty, my business with Adriana Talks Dinero fills me up so much more than any HR job ever could. So it's risky to start a business, and it's risky to keep on going with a business sometimes. But for me, the outcome that I get from it is so worth it. So I really want to challenge you this week. I want you to do one thing that stretches your financial comfort zone. If that means that you are going to go ahead and ask for that promotion at work so you have a new job title in 2026. If that is that you're opening up a Roth IRA because you heard about the triple tax advantage on it and because you don't have an investing account. Or if it is having a conversation with your partner because you know, looking at your guys' accounts, you guys are spending way too much money on things that you don't even know where the money's going to. If it's random orders from Amazon, or your partner is ordering random shoes that is through resale, or you guys are just eating out a lot and you really don't notice until the end of the month, and you're like, we're having a really hard time making the car payments because we spent so much money throughout the month. Or if it's even that you got those hospital bills in the mail and you don't know why in the world you have such a big hospital bill and you're terrified of calling Blue Cross Blue Shield, or you're terrified of calling the doctor's office because you hate being on the phone, but you want to have answers and you want to make sure that you're getting billed appropriately. or if it's even that you feel like you're getting charged too much interest on a credit card that you've had for 10 years and you're like, let me see if I can negotiate my credit card interest. There are so many different things that you can go ahead and do this week that could quote unquote be risky, but in all reality, you just have to get out of your comfort zone. And there's nothing wrong with wanting something more. And I think that's the big thing as well in our community, is that we're told to be grateful with what we have, to be thankful that we're not in a worse position, which I get, right? I'm grateful for every single little thing that I have in my life and that happens in my life, but that doesn't mean that I don't ask the universe for more, because honey, the universe does not have a limit, and it's up to us to go ahead and take those risks. And it's up to us to go ahead and say, you know what? Yes, I deserve more, or yes, I'm going to ask for more, or there has to be more than just this. So I would love to know, what is that one thing that you're doing this week to stretch your financial comfort zone? And go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram or on TikTok, or go ahead and make a story post on social media and put on there that your challenge this week to get out of your financial comfort zone is XYZ. Because as a community, we deserve so much more than what we're getting. So if you're going to go ahead and do the challenge, don't forget to tag me at Adriana Talks Dinero on Instagram or TikTok, and make sure you tell me your brave money move this week. And if you're ready to take this work even deeper, I do have openings for my one-on-one coaching sessions, and we can start as soon as this month after our discovery call. So you can go ahead and head on over at adrianatalksdinero.com. You'll go ahead and go fill out your form to go ahead and work with me, and we can go ahead and do a discovery call. We'll go through what your money goals are, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and guide you through that. And that way we can go ahead and help you build wealth with courage, clarity, and of course, honoring our cultura as well. So if you really like this episode, or if this really resonated with you, make sure that you are liking it, that you're sharing it with your amigas, your loved ones. And of course, we're going to have the same topic in Spanish next week. So if you have a loved one that only speaks Spanish, make sure you head back to the show and we can go ahead and share that information in Spanish as well. If you're not already following me on social, you can go ahead and find me at Adriana Talks Dinero on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Otherwise, I cannot wait to talk to you next time. Talk to you later.